Well, okay, so back to the topics. So who are the guys here? I'm just a founder, like a lot of tech startup founder here. And I'm also investor as well. So a little bit about myself. I spent first 7 years in my career in banking. I was in banking industry for a couple of banks like DBS, Credit Suisse, investment bank, Techcombank here as well, and HSBC back in Singapore. And in that 7 years, I just spent entire time just working on data. I'm working on data management, data analytics. My job is to extract all the insight out of the data so that it becomes actionable insight for my boss, usually the C-level, to help them on decision making. So that's where I started my career. And after 6 and 7 years, I moved back from Singapore back to Vietnam and joined Lazada because e-commerce at that time was very exciting. And e-commerce has more data to play. Yeah, so I joined Lazada. First year, I joined Lazada as a head of operations strategy. So I had the chance to work with a lot of 3PL, logistic partner, to set up the foundation of Lazada Logistics these days. And another year, I moved on commercial side. So that's a good thing about startup. When you're in startup, you have chance to explore the new thing. So I moved from operation strategy to commercial side, work as a head of pricing to optimize on the pricing on the Lazada so that we can maximize the burn. The burn here is I have some limited budget where I can control the price, can subsidize the price for the seller. So I need to find what the best price with the less amount of money. That's increase the revenue. And then also become the commercial director of Lazada, working with brand and retailer, helping them to grow on e-commerce. So after 2 years in Lazada, I have a chance to meet Jack Ma, where he shared his vision about Alibaba. So basically only two things. The first thing, Alibaba business is data business. It's not e-commerce, that's data business. The second is instead of building the empire himself, he wants to build ecosystem of very small businesses working together. And that inspired a lot of Lazada people at the time to leave Lazada and start my own startup journey. And that's how I start my company. Can I check if I have the... Okay. So that's where back in 2016, and I went out of Lazada, start my first company named Datamart. And what Datamart actually do, we do market intelligence for e-commerce. Market intelligence for e-commerce, put it very simple way, in the retail, you have Nelson, right? So Nelson, who are measure everything in the retail offline market and provide for the big brand and help the big brand make the strategy and make decision. So Datamart, we do the same, but for e-commerce. Thankfully, in e-commerce, we have a lot of data. So the data collection become a lot easier. So that's how Datamart started. And after 6 months launching Datamart, we see a lot of problem as well in the ecosystem of e-commerce, which is small retailer. Small retailer are those are selling on Lazada, Shopee, Sandal, and they don't have a tool, especially smart tool, to help them make the better decision to grow. So I create a product, the second product named PowerCell. So that's the second business. So PowerCell this day, after 2 years of market, we currently serve 18,000 of retailer. And every day we have helped them to sell 250,000 order. 250,000 order. To put into perspective, it's a double size of Lazada Vietnam already. Because the seller is selling on multiple platforms. And we expand to other markets. We expand to Indonesia, expand to Philippines. 25% of our revenue now is coming from other markets. But that haven't stopped it yet. So after 2 business, just seeing a lot of other potential in the ecosystem, I create OnPoint, the consulting business for brand. And also that join the board of Intrepid, provide end-to-end Wisco e-commerce enabler to help the brand to do online business across South Asia. And recently that we have chance to work with Grab and Vietjet Air to create a new business. It's Swift 24/7. I hope that it rings some bell to some people here. But basically, Swift 24/7 is we do cross-city and cross-border logistics. Basically, it's just so very simple problem. if you have the parcel, if you have something like micro here, you want to send to Ho Chi Minh City within 5 hours, then there will be a Grab to come here to pick up on the stake here, go to the airport, ship to the airline, and then from the airline go to the Ho Chi Minh City, and Grab pick up from there, deliver to your recipient. So everything just 5 hours. And that's all connected via API, which is a part of the e-commerce ecosystem nowadays, very open, that everyone can build business on that. And that is the idea not stopping there, because that's idea only for Hanoi and Ho Chi Minh City. But the idea is actually go beyond that, because for the same level of idea, we can ship the parcel from here to Singapore, from Malaysia, within 5 hours as well. And go beyond that, in the Korea, in the Japan, in the Taiwan. So whenever we have Vietjet Air or another airline, we can make it happen by connect with all the logistics player. So that business will officially launch in a couple of days, 2-3 days. And you're going to see on the newspaper. So I'm sharing a bit about myself while waiting here, because that's a journey when in the e-commerce see a lot of potential, and how can you use the technology and data and to make it impactful and valuable, as I've been just saying. We're actually looking into the business perspective more than the technology, and how to bring technology to be helpful for that. Okay? Can I have this? Okay. Okay, so whilst everyone here, just a quick question. Have everyone ever read about the Google reports about the digital or internet economy in South Asia? So who already read that report? Wow, a lot, right? Okay, and this is a report. It just out 2 days ago, and that made myself to change all the slides that I prepared for the for the presentation. So basically 2 days ago, that's Google already published about the digital economy. So that's everything about the ecosystem. That's estimated to exceed $150 billion in next 5 years. And put into perspective, that's 60 to 70% of our current GDP of Vietnam. Okay, so this is the big market. Whatever the technology that we build, this is the huge market to look at. And that's not the interesting thing. So here's some insight about the people who work in e-commerce. This report have two interesting things. Can I go to the next slide? Yes. Can I just borrow the pointer, if possible? Không bấm được ạ. Next. Okay, next, yeah. Okay, so next slide. Next slide, because I work with the guy who did the analysis. So for the same guy who did the estimation last year, the same report, they just estimate $100 billion. And last year, they already share about the e-commerce, digital economy, this on the inflection point. And this year, they revised up the number, 150%. So that's crazy. So just want to share that, even that the guy who doing a lot of research in digital economy and e-commerce had to change his perspective after a year. They revise up the target. So that's the first thing. We are on the right time on e-commerce. Yeah, next slide. And the second thing, next slide, please. Mình có cách nào để mình control được cái slide không nhỉ? Okay. Okay, for the second things. And he showed me as well. Okay. That is, even that all his analysis or the market research is not cover entire digital economy. Because he only can track the data which is capturable. For example, the order, the transaction, it still doesn't really work. Okay. Okay. Okay, I'll try it. Okay, brilliant. So he showed me that even that his reports published 2 days ago, It's not cover entire market. So what does he could not cover? Because for e-commerce here, so this is total digital economy, and you see that e-commerce is a big hit. The second is online media, where we having ads, game, we have travel booking, all the airline ticket, and we have ride-hailing, Grab, and Go. That's the total market. Ride-hailing is growing massively. I think that you can get the report, download online. But the interesting thing here is the e-commerce here. He only covers the trackable data. So the data on e-commerce platform like Lazada and Shopee, he cannot track the data on social commerce. So currently, e-commerce, we have around 60% of the data is trackable. The rest is still on social commerce. So make the total e-commerce become 8.6 billion. So that's actually where we are nowadays, because we have the Facebook and Instagram, which is huge as well. Okay, can I just go to the next slide? Well, and here's what we see in e-commerce. I'm just sharing so that everyone sees the potential and can have the idea, which is we go later stage. So the first is GDP. GDP currently grows 7 or 8%, depending on whether they change the adjustment. And the retail still go much faster, 150%, faster than the GDP. But just look at e-commerce. It's growing in last 7 years, it's 70%. And that's growth, if you look at the trend, it's still continue growing. It's massive. It's massive, 6 times faster than the second guy, the retail market. And the next question is, how big it can be. So when we look at e-commerce, we usually put by comparison with retail. Our $100 currently spending on retail, only $4.8 spending on e-commerce. But if we look at our neighbor, China, 73%. Okay? And we look at this Korea, it's 24%. So it's really predictable, and that's the e-commerce share here is continue growing at least 12 to 14% in the next 5 years. So whatever that you're doing to e-commerce, all the business that I build is still in very early stage. Right? If you look 5 years from now, it's a huge market that you can bring the technology here to have to accelerate the growth and capitalize on the opportunity. So I go a bit detail here on what the e-commerce ecosystem look like. So here's from the eyes of the people, of the guy who working in e-commerce last 5 years. So e-commerce nowadays structure into 3 layers. The first layer is all the platform. You can see the name of Lazada, Shopee, Mobile. So where the transaction happening, and we have 100,000 of retailer and million of consumers spending on there. The good thing on the first layer is it receives huge amount of money. So it continue growing. And while it's growing, it has a lot of transaction, create the demand for the second and the third layer. So let me go on the third layer first. The third layer are infrastructure. Okay? That's where you need a lot of investment as well for infrastructure, but also technology for optimization. Do not have enough capacity to serve them all, right? The only thing that you can do is build technology platforms so that can enable them. But level of customization, for example, brand A want to have different strategy, they have a different marketing plan, they need partner. So the key growth, I think that's the key success factor. What is the success factor of e-commerce in China? Is TP. TP means Taobao and Tmall partners. That business working on e-commerce ecosystem and helping all the seller and retailer to sell better than that. So here's the ecosystem that arising in Vietnam. We have the company working on brand enabler. You have companies that pivoting from the offline to online on inventory management for online seller. We have companies start working on online marketing, for example, e-commerce. Couple of years ago, they just doing affiliate marketing, and now they are social selling, meaning that they support for the one who's selling on the first layer, and so on and so on. So that's a huge opportunity I want to share more on today. And why that? Because again, all the platforms are well backed by Chinese player with a lot of money. And even that the potential global recession may come in next 12 months, all the players here still continue the fight in at least 2 and 3 years. So the top layer is still growing, right? Still layer growing, create the demand for the second on the third layer. And the secondly, here are the things. The second layer is not small. Oh, how can I go back to the previous slide? Okay. Okay. Sorry, too many information because I'm still the data guy, and I want to share a lot of data. Data analysis. And I want everyone to understand the logic behind it as well. No, not this one. It's the previous one. Well. Okay, I'm lost. Okay, just hold on a minute. Let me slow down. So this one actually from Bank America Merrill Lynch. They make the estimation when I met them 2 months ago. And they share about the Korea markets where very fragmented. A lot of big players still coexist. So where should I point it to? Okay. That. Đâu rồi? Có thể point ở đâu nhỉ? Có thể cho mình sang cái next slide được không? Cho mình cái next slide. Mình nghĩ next slide rất là quan trọng không? Trước cái slide này. Đây. Okay. Here it is. Okay. So the same thing like what I shared earlier in China. The successful e-commerce because of TP, Taobao Tmall Partner, ecosystem of services helping retailer and brand to selling in e-commerce. So when I was in e-commerce 3 years ago, none of the player here, and this is this year. No, this is last year, and this year even bigger. And why that? So if you look at the total market, every seller can sell $150 billion single alone on e-commerce in like 5 years. And they are willing to spend 8 to 10% from all the service provider. So that's easily create 15 billion addressable market. And 50 billion is already 3 times bigger than e-commerce market these days in Vietnam. So here actually a very, really big opportunity arising, whilst all the players still busy fighting on the first layer to increase the volume, increase the customer, increase everything. It creates big opportunities for the player around that. So remember that Alibaba, they don't make money from their platform. They make the money from all the services they sell to the seller. Okay? Okay, so now a couple of the business opportunity where I see that everyone can pivot. There's technology in. The first, with the growth of the platform, we can sell the product on that. Because huge investment, huge subsidy over there. When you sell the product online, this is a perfect timing. And then the other thing as well, this is a great channel for attracting the traffic to your store, even as you sell offline. I go detail later. The second, I shared earlier, provide services for e-retailer who are selling online. And the first one, expand the business to other geography. So one slide just passed out. It just passed. So geography here, actually two things. Is number one, you go to rural. So while everyone's still busy fighting in the big city, the potential of e-commerce is sit on rural area, just like China as well. And the second, why data mart? trying to go to South Asia very soon, because we just realized that instead of competing in the local market, and we're going to have a lot of talent here, it's very difficult for us. While the South Asia market is really big and very easy for tech company like us to scale to other regions. Okay, so here's the first thing. The first interesting fact about e-commerce. So this is based on our market intelligence services. We crawl entire data assortment of the most popular e-commerce platform in the region, and we just realized that 73% of the top selling products are coming from China. So what's missing? Missing is the brands, right? They have a lot of money. And the second, which is opportunity, gonna definitely rising here. Either you make it or somebody make it. It's a private label. You just see that what the product selling hot is in no branded manner. You build your own brand, right? Yeah. So this is what we did a couple of years ago for Anchor to build their online channels. So the first wave, that either you build the technology to have these guys selling online, private label guys, or you build it. The second, which is also the big trend. So this is coming from Alibaba. So this is actually new retail. And Jack Ma also specifically explained what the C2B mean. We're talking about B2B, B2C. But C2B mean you really understand your customer. And your customer will decide what you sell, what you build, what you manufacture. It's not coming from the other way around. So that actually hits new retail strategy. And one of the things is happening these days, O2O is not offline to online as everyone thinks. Offline to online means that you bring the store from offline to online, but actually O2O in the data terms is online to offline. You use the data to use online channel to capture the traffic and find the best way to bring that traffic to offline store through integration of technology and also the data analytics around your customer. So that's their strategy, and that's how they built. Just recently, one of the case, couple of days ago, they launched very successfully in Thailand. This is not something new, but this is something about 5 years already done in China. This is a coupon system. They're one of their examples how they made it, and we can use our technology for other platforms as well. So what they have is for the customer buying online, and customer buying online, they have the coupon, and the coupon gonna initiate the order from offline store. So this is example for Burger King. When I buy a coupon from online, from Lazada in Thailand, I can get the order within 30 minutes, either by somebody deliver from nearest Burger King to my address, or I go there and I redeem. So they just launched us just a couple of days ago in Thailand, and just a matter of time until this is gonna roll out in Vietnam and roll out to other channels. Lazada is not alone. Lazada is not the biggest one in Vietnam. So that's a huge opportunity for tech company to do integration, make this kind of product, or build the analytics around the customer to make this transition from O2O seamlessly. Okay. So this is, I get back to the services. So this is my analysis based on, I'm working with a lot of retailers. I'm asking that, where do you spend your money on your services? They sell a lot, but they have to spend the money as well. They spend the money on tech and automation, which I'm doing. They spend money on material, operational material for their business. They spend money a lot on marketing. Yeah. They underspend now. They're going to spend a lot. They spend money on outsourcing. For example, that I'm selling online. I'm going to need a team of maybe customer services do that job for me, instead of I'm building the whole team, right? And 20% on other services like financing. I need to borrow the money, or other services like accounting. And if we can bring something from that accounting services to online business, we are also helping a lot retailer here and make money. So here's the one example. So credit financing for MSME. So I'm going a little bit detail here because that is one of the cases that we did very successfully, both in Singapore and in Vietnam. So for seller who's selling on the platform here, they cannot accept the business loan because they are not company. They don't have business license. But they cannot accept the personal loan as well because they don't have the stable income. And if they go to credit financing, the rate very high, right? and the amount is small. It's not fit for them. Of course, in Vietnam, we have a couple business like Dragonland, E-Loan, or maybe Vay Mượn from Anh Binh as well, but in very early stage. So this business is one of my friend in Lazada. He also just dropped out business 2 years ago. What he built is exactly the same thing. He get the access data from sale data from all e-commerce platform, and also from accounting software like QuickBooks and everything, and build the credit model. That's an application of AI. And he raising fund to lend small seller money. And after 2 years, Aspire, right, having $100 million valuation after 2 years. It's still in Singapore. It's not yet in Vietnam. Still, definitely the opportunity here, right? If somebody just utilize the data, build a credit model, raise fund, and we have proven case. $100 million after 2 years. And they raised totally about $40 million recently for this business. So that's number one. That's something big. But something very small as well. Cardboards. So sellers selling online. If you look at that, they need carton boards, right? And every day in the e-commerce market, we have 2 million parcels every day. So if we can use a model that have the seller to optimize the size of the box, right? To do the demand planning, how many box in which size that I need, and I have good pricing for the seller as well. They're gonna buy it. That's a 2 million box, and you can buy the box at the wholesale price and sell to the seller at the retail price. Not retail price, better than retail price. For small seller, they just buy 10 box, and you have negotiation power of 2 million box every day. Yeah. So that's another thing that I think there's a lot of great mind here can apply technology and make it happen. Yeah. So cut it short. This very last slide. I think that's the potential still lying on fulfillment and logistics, where the seller and everyone spend more money on that. 25% of the cost still on logistics, on marketing. And the other trending is KOL and live stream production, because the trend of the social commerce is arising in Vietnam, going from China. So this is definitely the good area that you want to venture into, or you can pivot your technology to support this kind of business. Okay, so thank everyone here. I think I spent too many time.
Và vâng, xin cảm ơn anh Nam với những chia sẻ hết sức bổ ích